I don't think I knew what a computer was in 1959. I was 14, so I didn't know what the next 40 years of computing would be like. I was interested in rugger balls and cricket balls and things like that. I remember when I stood in front of my first mainframe, which must have been about 30 years ago, and had to interrogate it, and there was something called a Maxi and a Mini, and they were still proper kind of mainframe-ish type computers, and I just couldn't get it. I tried very hard, but short of going off on a 6-month training course, I couldn't. Whereas now, they're packaged and made very easy. They're idiot-proof, my wife would say. And so I can press the buttons and do it. And that's how they become user-friendly. And they also have started to use plain English. So, as you know, the screen says, "You idiot." They say, "You idiot." If you press this button, it'll put it right. And it had to happen, it's happened, thank goodness. I think the computer per se, of course it's brought about changes, but I think the internet has dramatically changed things. I mean, the separation of secretary and executive is now no longer so absolute, and you see, I'm chairman of a company. 20 years ago, there's no way I'd have sent you a message or you'd have sent me a message. It would have been formal communication through my secretary, just to take a very practical point. But I think it's the internet that's changed the way things happen in offices. And I suppose net, one of the main effects is speed of communication. You and I can actually communicate without talking to each other on a whole range of topics 20 times a day, and that is extraordinary. How old was I when I first used a computer? I think, really rather old. I think I played around with a BBC Acorn computer, and I must have been 35 or something like that.
I think I was about 5 or 6 when I used my first computer. I think it was my brother's computer. It was an Amstrad CPC 464.
My first computer I had at home, it was an old Amstrad. It had a green screen, pretty basic games, and the memory was on a traditional cassette, like a tape cassette, and that was probably about 20 years ago.
When I used my first computer, I was probably 6 or 7 years old at primary school, and it was those old BBC computers with the massive floppy disks.
Do I use a computer at home? Yep. I have a standalone in the office, and I have a laptop.
At home I've got 2 computers.
At home I have 2 computers. I have my personal laptop and I have my work laptop.
At home I've got 2. I've got a laptop and a desktop, and I don't use it that much, but my sons do, and my wife uses it far more than I do. I use it so much at work.
I spend about 5 or 6 hours a day on average on the computer.
My entire working day is spent using a computer, and then possibly 1 hour at home on the internet.
First thing in the morning, I'll probably spend half an hour doing my emails. Late at night, half an hour, so it's probably an hour to an hour and a half max.
If I came into work and found that the systems were down, I would attempt to work offline or talk to some people I needed to talk to, or go home.
If I came into work and the systems were down, I guess I'd do what everybody else does, which is curse, swear, ring computer call, then get the team together and see how best we can operate without the system.
It was an HBOS office. I'd say, "I'm chairman, send me the cavalry," and someone, Lucy or someone would come and help. In my own office in the centre of London, which isn't in an HBOS office, I got someone called Dave, who's magic. He's like a doctor and comes and cures them. The one thing I wouldn't do is try and mend it myself.
If I came into work and the systems were down, I would go home.
If I bought a new computer, yeah, I think I'd be pretty confident setting it up myself and then calling someone up.
If I bought a new computer, I'd have no problem setting it up myself.
If I bought a new computer, I think I'd pay extra and have somebody set it up for me.
Well, actually, I've done it once or twice, but as a matter of principle, I'd rather call Dave.
I could do my job without a computer, but it would take infinitely longer to do anything.
If I didn't have a computer, I'd be using a lot of pencils and paper and a calculator, so no.
I think the existing technology will be more and more refined, things will become faster, more productive, more idiot-proof. I hope it does, because it helps me. But I also think there will be dislocations. There will be some clever 10-and-a-half-year-old somewhere in the world, in Kazakhstan, is probably dreaming up some next major breakthrough, because it'd be astonishing. I'm not quite sure what it'll be. You'll be able to, you won't need a computer, you'll be able to go in your bath, and messages will go all over the world in a way that you can't predict.
I think the next 40 years will bring us computers that are faster, smaller, and hopefully a laptop battery that lasts a little bit longer than 2 hours.
I think without doubt computers are going to get smaller and faster. I think society as a whole is going to get more dependent on them.
I think computers have probably gone almost as far as they can. I'm not a techie, and I guess changes in the future will be just tweaks, faster or larger capacities and so on.
I think we've just really scratched the surface with computers at the moment. Without doubt in the future we'll see some autonomous systems. Whether a Terminator style scenario comes to fore, I'm not entirely sure. I would hope not, but you never know, do you?
I think there will always be something new on the horizon, something that wasn't previously considered. So when we get to the limits of what's possible with the existing technology, we'll just move on to something else, whether that's molecular computing or biological computers, whatever that may be.